Hi everybody, I'm Celestine Ray. I am the Associate Meisner Instructor here at the Terry Knickerbocker Studio, and I teach the 2-year Conservatory program. And I'm here with my friend here, former graduate of my class, Christopher Lewis Dawkins.
That's my name.
Yes.
Nice to see you. Nice to be back with you.
Yes, it's nice to be back with you too. I'm happy that we're here to talk.
We're here to talk. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I literally can't stop smiling. Even with like your introduction, I'm just so proud, so grateful, and just like ah. So I literally was just like smiling the whole time while you were introducing yourself.
You're proud of me?
Yeah.
Oh, Christopher, that means a lot.
Should I save that for the end? Like what?
You can talk about, I mean, whatever you want to talk about.
I'm here. Whatever you want to talk about. Where should we start? Where should we start?
I actually want to start with you because we've been in touch. We've been talking since you've graduated. You graduated a year ago now. Is that true?
Yeah, 2024.
In 2024, right? And so since then, it feels like you've been like really busy. You've been busy doing a lot of things. You've been immersing yourself in the craft. So I just want to hear how it's been going because you spent 2 years in this conservatory program. And I'm curious about how the training has influenced what you're doing now. And yeah, just want to hear you reflect on that a little bit.
Yeah, so I would say, well, I'm doing well. I'm busy. I'm busy, like you said. But I did take the recommended break that you recommended post-graduation, and I'm really glad that I did that because I think that it's easy to feel like to go, like we're gonna miss out on opportunities. But like from my experience, allowing myself to genuinely take a break. On paper, it was a year before I started like auditioning for things. The things I've done before then has been people reaching out to me and stuff like that. But in terms of like, I'm auditioning, I really like chilled for a year. And now that my break is done, like I don't feel like I missed out on anything since I've been busy, and I'm grateful for that.
Why did you feel like you needed the break? Did you feel like you needed the break?
Oh, 100%. Because 2 years of your life is a lot. It's a long time to be intentionally being open, being vulnerable, being pissed off, experiencing a million emotions for 2 years straight is a lot. So I think that a break is important. So I'm glad that I took it.
Yeah, it's the 2-year program. It's like sometimes people hear 2 years and they think it's such a long time. And it is a long time, but 2 years also goes by like that.
Super quick.
But what happens in that 2 years, I feel like there's so much that happens. You are not the same version of yourself when you start as when you finish.
Yeah.
And so it is intense, but it's beautifully intense because it's like birthing a baby. It's like you're birthing a new version of yourself, or we could use that metaphor.
I like the metaphor.
Or we could use the caterpillar that turns into the butterfly metaphor. I like the birthing the baby because we talk about there's discomfort in the process sometimes. But then at the end you have this beautiful, adorable baby that you now get to continue to nurture and grow and care for. So what would you say after you took the break? When you reflect on the work and when you reflect on the training, how has it impacted what you're doing now?
To be completely honest, I just felt very, very confident, and I show up into spaces knowing that I know what I'm doing, and not from like a place of like arrogance, just like, at least I think that me being hard on myself or thinking like like scared and stuff hasn't been helpful. And I think that the confidence that I show up in within the spaces that I go into, because I trust the technique and things that I've learned, but even like outside of the technique, just trust myself, I feel like has been beneficial for me when it comes to auditioning or like in different rooms. I hate the word networking. I can't stand up. I'll say connecting.
I don't love it.
I'll say
connecting is a better thing because there's something reciprocal about that.
Yes.
Networking feels like opportunistic.
Exactly.
Feels like I'm there to get something as opposed to what I'm bringing to a space. As well as what I'm possibly going to take away from it.
Exactly. So even just like showing up into spaces, being open with whatever is happening there. If connection does happen, I trust in my abilities to be professional, to be creative, to be on my toes. I don't know. It just feels an ease. I think that the 2-year training has definitely developed like an ease within me when it comes to my artistry in terms of acting, and then also obviously my filmmaking as well.
Can you talk more about the ease? Why do you think you have more ease?
Yeah, I think I have more ease because there's no confusion. So like when I get like oh, actually let me tell you this. So I was recently a part of this project where it was like a micro budget a feature film, and it was purely improv, purely improv. And I just was like, all right, this is what we're doing. And I'm not like going through everything in my head, like, all right, so I'm particularizing here. And like, all right, I'm doing this here. Like, what's my action here? But because of the time that we put into the program and the training that we've done, it's kind of like, it's just like inside of you. And so the basics, listening and responding. I literally spent the time on set just listening and responding to the other person. And I think that comes from the work that we've done, like the amount of times where you're like, Christopher, are you actually hearing them? You're not listening. You're not. Are you listening? Are you listening? It's like all that time. It's within my veins. It's like within my body. So it's like it's very instinctual for me to. The basic foundation of what we learned about listening and responding comes natural when I'm showing up on sets where they're like, all right, we're gonna improvise.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, all right, I guess that's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's the thing about technique that I think is so important for me as a teacher and for me as an actor, right? Is like technique, if you are in the practice of learning a thing and doing or showing up to learn a technique and really practice it, and over time you keep showing up and you keep practicing it, and it becomes second nature. It becomes a part of your process in a way where it's not intellectual anymore.
Yeah.
And it's, I like the metaphor of showing up to the ballet bar, right? Like I have a dance background, so going and showing up to the ballet bar and doing pliés and tendus and relevés and pliés and tendus and relevés, and you're doing that over and over and over again until eventually when you're in the dance, you're just dancing the dance. You're not thinking plié, tendu, relevé. You're just inside of the work. And that's for everything. I mean, I think that every art form there is some kind of practice. There's a technique. There's something about acting where people think, I can just wing it.
For real.
Right? And I think that there is something to say about like raw talent. I think most actors come to it with some kind of raw talent. But I feel like technique helps you hone that talent. It helps you, it's like clay, like you're this big lump of clay, and the technique helps you kind of sculpt it and know how to utilize it, know when, oh, this is where I can pull out this tool, and this is where I can pull out that tool, and this is how I can lend my talent to the work. So I think, there's a lot of people that talk about, oh, I just need to be natural, like just be natural, you know? And there is something to say about that. It's really, that the actors that are really good at what they do, they make it look natural.
Yes.
And so it's deceptive because we think, oh, I can do that.
They're just showing up.
Right, because, and Terry talks about this a lot. And, I remember when I was training with Terry, he would talk about how, what we're seeing actors do is replicate human behavior. And so we're in the practice of human behavior all the time because we are human beings. So sometimes an actor or someone who wants to be an actor will look at that and say, well, I can do that.
Yeah, that's easy. I could do that.
Right. So what do you think about this idea of like people who think, oh, I have raw talent, I know how to charm a room, I know how to just kind of like wing it, I'm impulsive, I can do that. What do you think about that in terms of thinking that that's all it takes to be an actor versus like actually training and studying a technique?
Yo, I have so many thoughts. I think about this a lot. Because I think especially in this digital age, like it's easy to, let me just answer the question first and then I'll maybe get there. I think that technique is important because I like to think of myself as an actor, as an athlete. I have this conversation a lot with another student who went there. His name is Ruben Caballero. We talk a lot about the craft, and we were talking about like athletes are disciplined when it comes to do the things that they do. Like what you see on like Sunday Night Football, it comes from technique. They're not just showing up doing that, and they're executing at the highest level. So for like Ruben and myself as actors, we talk about like treating our craft as if we're athletes. So like, what do we do how do we train when we're not like on set, when we're not auditioning? Because it's not just about that. So for people, no disrespect to all the people who are just like, I could naturally do it. You probably can naturally do it, but I feel like you'll feel more of a sense of confidence knowing that you have this foundational thing to help hone and grow you. Because I feel like natural talent is real, but like what happens to natural talent when in like stakes? What happens when there are things that happen that you're unaware of? Like you can bounce back to the best of your ability, but like just having foundational elements to be able to navigate through different acting spaces, I just think is helpful.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, if we're thinking about character work, right, and what it takes to become a character, to transform yourself, which, you know, Terry talks about this, Meisner talked about this idea of character work is the highest form of acting, right? To be able to transform yourself, to become someone else. There is skill needed to be able to do that. And I mean, it's one of the things that I love so much about acting is to really be able to step into another person's shoes and become them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to play myself. Yeah, I mean, I'm just being totally honest.
too.
Like, if I, you know, I like to utilize the parts of myself in service of a character.
Exactly.
And so, to me, I have to learn how to do that. I have to learn what is going to be necessary for me to be able to take the thing that is raw, the raw clay,
Exactly.
and utilize it. It's so
Yeah.
funny because the sports metaphor resonates with me so much because both of my parents played basketball.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. And so they met in college, they were playing basketball, and my mom always says that my dad had a lot of raw talent. Like he was good, but she said he didn't know how to shoot. So she taught my father how to shoot. She taught him the basics of like the technique of like of how to hold the ball, right? How you need to flick the wrist at the top, how you need to see the brim of, or the rim of the net, right, of the hoop, right? All of those things that my dad, he was getting the ball in, but he didn't know how he could duplicate it. He didn't know how he could be consistent.
Repeat it, yeah.
And so Terry talks about this. How are you going to show up and do 8 shows a week and know that you're going to be able to be available for that role every single time?
Yeah.
And if we're thinking about film and TV, you know, I mean, take after take after take after take, to be able to do it again and again and again. How are you going to be able to do that? And I just think that, yeah, to be able to have a skill set that is honed, and that have a technique, have something that you can lean on to go, okay, how am I gonna find my way inside of this character? How am I gonna break down this script, right? It gives you confidence, like what you're speaking about, but it also, I think, gives you longevity.
Yes, yes. I'm smiling because literally recently on the project that I've worked on, there was this one scene where we were going take after take after take, and there was my scene partner was like a new actor, like he hasn't trained yet, he's just getting his feet wet, all that stuff, and he was talking about like, yo, we're doing this again and again, talking about being exhausted. And I was exhausted too. Listen, take after take, you get tired. But falling back to technique, I was thinking for myself, because there was an entrance. There was a moment where we needed to like rush in. So I was like, okay, how can I make this different than like the first take that we did? And so for me in that moment, I really did lean on my technique, because I was like, okay, I knew that I could change the imaginary circumstance for myself in this moment to make this entrance just like slightly different. I don't know what the other actor did. I'm sure he did fine, but it's like I wasn't like scrambling. I'm like, okay, boom, 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 boom. And so I relied on it because I needed it, because I was literally exhausted. But in the moments where you're not relying on the technique, it's just like already inside of you, or I believe. That's what I think. Also, I keep hitting the mic by
I think you do it enough, and it does become less of it, like I said, of an intellectual process. It becomes more embodied, more instinctual. I mean, and that's what we spend so much of the first year work doing, is like developing our instincts. And developing our instincts in a way that are really authentic to what it means to be a human being.
Yeah.
Because we're so socialized to be the opposite of human, which is so bizarre. We're socialized to be productive. We're not socialized to be human, which is why I think in the first year, when people start having really big feelings, for a lot of people, it's like, I don't know if I want to feel that. I don't want to feel those feelings, because we're socialized to believe that something's wrong with having feelings.
Yeah, something's wrong with taking up space.
Something's wrong with taking up space, right? There's this encouragement in society to kind of like fall in line, don't shake things up, right? And we don't need all that emotion. We don't want to feel that. but that's so antithetical to what it means to be a human being. And so again, the training is so necessary because we're so socialized out of what it means to have human behavior. And so we'll be in the middle of an exercise and someone's having a really big emotion, a really big response to something, and sometimes their first habitual reaction is to shut down.
Me.
Talk about that. Talk about that
it.
Journey of learning to embrace your full emotionality and your truth and your impulses.
Where do I start? So I definitely had a habit of shutting down. I definitely had a habit of like when something went wrong, specifically like when we got texts, of like just like freezing. And I think that over time, very much with your assistance, I remember the exact class where I just like shut down off of the text. You gave me a simple direction, literally a simple direction, told me to go back outside. I took it in, but like I was so caught up with like perfection and like trying to be like get it right. So I was outside trying to figure it out up here as opposed to figure it out in here. And then I walk into the room, said my line, scene partner says the line, I said my line, scene partner says her line, and then I forgot my line because I was trying to so focused on what you were saying. And then I just shut down, literally. Back hits the wall, drop down, and then
remember this.
Yeah, yes. And then I'm literally just sitting there just saying lines. Yeah, okay, my name is da 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 da. And you stopped, and you're like, Christopher, what's going on? What's going on? And I was so defensive. I don't know what was happening. I was in my head, but also just like, da, da, da. You're like, Christopher, like, am I
trying to get it right?
Yeah, you're trying to get it right. Like, are you okay? Like, am I harming you right now? It's like you brought me back into reality. I was like, no, tears, no. And you just like walked me through, I don't remember specifically what you said, but on the other side of what you communicated to me, I just felt like a weight was lifted off of my shoulder. And I realized that I didn't need to shut down. I couldn't just leave my scene partner there. And also I couldn't just leave myself there. And thinking bigger picture, you can't just leave the audience there. Like you have to push forward. You have to be brave enough. And just the simplicity of mistake is a mistake, and it's really not that deep.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Because when you say, well, you have to, I don't want it to seem like it's like this militaristic.
Yeah.
You got to do it, right? You don't have to do anything. It's a choice to do this. But if you want to tell the story and make yourself available to the story, then yes, lending your vulnerability to it is important. But what happens, I think, in the beginning of the work is people do want to get it right. Again. And oh my God, I relate to this so much in terms of when I first started, is like wanting to get it right, wanting to do well, wanting to be perfect. And then we realize like perfection is actually the opposite of what it means to be human.
Hey.
And so like bringing perfection into the work is actually antithetical to what it means to be an actor.
Yes.
It can't live there. But failure and making a lot of mistakes, we need to be able to do that. And training is like, this is the best place to be able to fail a lot. Because there is an expectation when you get on set, right? And there's not a lot of rehearsal. So there is an expectation that you're going to land the plane every single time. That takes years and years of failing and making mistakes and learning from your mistakes. And again, I don't think we are socialized to value mistakes. We are socialized to be so afraid to make a mistake. And so coming into an environment where we say, fail a lot, make mistakes. For most people, they're like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
And or they're like, yeah, that sounds good to me. And then the moment that they make the mistake,
the first one.
it's a freak out. It's like, and it's so interesting, teaching this work and being on the opposite end of it, but also still being an actor. I have I have learned so much from watching all of you and how you process mistakes, because sometimes for me it's been this huge mirror and I'm like, oh my God, I do that.
Whoa.
I gotta stop doing that.
Whoa.
My self-tapes have gotten so much better.
Oh, word.
Because I see it now and I'm like thinking to myself, why is this person beating themselves up? And then I have to go to myself, why am I beating myself up? It's not useful. And actually it's a lot of energy that's put towards something that you can't, beating yourself up doesn't actually help you get better. It's just harmful. But again, it takes time. It takes time to adjust to a new way of kind of approaching life, the work. really being able to believe that, oh, it's okay to make mistakes. That's, to me, that's actually part of the training as well.
Yeah.
You are training yourself to have a different relationship to failure.
Yeah. Yeah. Like imagine having a space where you get to make mistakes and there's like there's no money on the line. Like there's no like life or death situation. You're literally just like playing around in failure. Like you don't get to do that in life. Try playing around in failure and like relationships with family, friends, like, nah, you can't do that. But like in this space, in a safe way, you know, responsibly, you're able to do that. I think that's an important part of the process, and why I do think that technique is helpful.
What you said, though, there was a key word that you said there, play. And so when we're children, we're not thinking about, am I doing a good job pretending to be a doctor? We're just playing.
For real.
You know, we're not thinking about how's it going, right? Am I impressing my parents? I mean, a little bit when we go, hey, watch what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But when you're in it with your friends and you're just pretending, you're just in it. And that play is so essential to the work. And again, like the older we get, the more socialized we get out of playing, right? How many times have you heard an adult say, stop playing around?
Yo, all the time. All the time.
Right? As a kid, stop playing, or you play too much.
Yo, I've heard that a lot.
Right. Right? We hear these things.
You
play too much. But as actors, we got to play all the time. We got to get in the sandbox and be messy and make mistakes and have a sense of humor about our mistakes, which was so good for me to learn when I was doing this work. You know, coming from a dance background, it's a different approach, right? It's like either you hit the triple pirouette or you didn't hit the triple pirouette. And acting is more subjective. And I think that's why acting has become the thing that is like what I love the most. I always say dance is my first love, but acting is the thing that brought me home to myself.
Wow.
And I'm so grateful that I get to share that and experience that with all of you through teaching it. It's become this extension of my artistry.
Wow.
And so like sitting here talking to you today is an extension of that too. It's so delicious for me.
Yeah, facts.
So in the practice of failing in class, I think what we learn, and you can speak to this more so, I think what we learn is that it's not the end of the world. Like you get another chance to try it again.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious if you've experienced that, because yes, this is the safe space to be able to fail. And though, yes, you are expected to land the plane and to get it right on set, that also there are spaces where you can make mistakes and try something new. So have you had that experience now that you're out in the world and you're playing and you're trying things and you're auditioning and you're doing readings? Like, have you been able to bring failure along with you and have a sense of humor about it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I can honestly say that with most projects that I'm on, I definitely lean into failure because the more that I'm leaning into failure, for me, I feel like I'm being playful, I'm being open, and I'm leaving myself alone. I think the beautiful thing that I've learned about failure is it's the best way for me to leave myself alone within the work. And so before training, I had a very interesting relationship with failure. And in retrospect, I was just so like hard on myself, so hard on myself. Yes. You remember? So hard on myself. But now going through the training, failure is kind of fun. I have like a different perspective around it. So like when I'm on set, like when I'm on the stage, when I'm doing a reading, like I almost feel like failure is a part of the process. And because I allow failure to be a part of the process, I feel like that's where my best work comes out. And sometimes you as a me, you society, you be surprising the director or yourself about how your failure leads to some type of creative solution or some type of discovery that like happens live, that if you were so held on to perfection and so held on to getting it right, you wouldn't have discovered that thing.
This is getting me, I'm so proud of you. It's getting me emotional thinking about where you started and hearing you talk about it this way, and also experiencing you, right? Like we've done some readings where I've watched you be able to work and just jump in and not put pressure on yourself and embracing failure. And it's like, it's just so beautiful to see how much you have transformed and grown and like come into yourself. And there's like, yeah, there's a playful spirit that you, I think, bring to the work that also encourages everybody else in the room to be playful. Wow. No, because by virtue of you giving yourself permission to fail and be playful, you give other people in the room permission.
Wow.
If you come in the room stressed and and I got to get it right, it's like that energy is contagious, you know? And someone who's kind of like, oh, we're going to play and try things, it kind of like lets everybody's shoulders kind of like drop down a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like hearing you talk about it in that way because it's such a different Christopher than when you started, where you were so focused on getting it right. And now I think what I'm hearing you say is that you're so focused on the exploration and the process, which I believe that this technique is such a process-based technique. It's not about results. I mean, yes, we want to get the result of good work, but we recognize that the process is where we need to put our focus in order to get that good result.
Exactly.
That if we're trying to just get it right or do a good job, we miss out on the process. And it's what a metaphor for life, right? If you're trying to like do good at life, it's like you're not living.
Yeah.
You know, you're not actually experiencing life if you're trying to have a
good life. I'm trying to have a good life. Yeah.
Right, you're probably a little neurotic and like focused on making sure that everything is perfect.
Planned
and perfection is
boring.
Yeah.
I think perfection is boring.
Yeah.
Not to say, well, first of all, let me finish this statement before you can edit around it. Yes, perfection is boring. Not to say to not be responsible. You know, like obviously like we have to be responsible with our lives. We're not saying that to the people, whatever. But perfection is boring. It really is boring to be so like rigid. Yeah, I think perfection kind of feels like rigidity to me.
Yeah.
Is that a word, rigidity?
It is.
Yeah, that's what I feel like perfection feels like to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think the times when I have been trying to get it right and been functioning from perfection in my work are the times when I've been the most rigid. And when you're rigid, there's no you can't see the other possibilities for what you're doing because you've got blinders on.
Yeah.
You're not allowing yourself to be totally in the experience. And in the experience means embracing all of it, including the mess, including the failure, including the moments when you're like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right? And trusting that something will come out of that. That getting lost is sometimes part of the journey to finding your way.
Wow, that's beautifully said. That's beautifully said. Yeah.
I was finding my way through it as I was going.
We found it. What you said made me think about a recent experience I had. So I'm taking singing lessons now.
You are?
I am, yes. I'm taking singing lessons because there's been so many auditions where I see the character description or their story, and I'm just like, yo, I would eat that. But it's just like your vocal range needs to be good. I'm like, yo. So I was like, all right, well, why don't I just learn how to sing? I'm not saying that I'm gonna be X Whitney Houston, whatever, but who knows? Maybe. But the point is that like I wanted to just like add this thing to my arsenal so I could not box myself out from auditioning for things that I think would be fun or honestly just straight up think I would eat. So in my singing lesson, what I've noticed is that when I'm so focused on like getting it right and I'm becoming rigid, my teacher, she's just like, all right, so I need you to be messy. I need you to be messy. And I'm like, okay. And anytime I allow myself to just be messy and not be thinking about getting it right or matching the perfect pitch and just allowing my voice to take up space, she's constantly just like, take up space. We have this thing called the waterfall. Her teaching me has been very interesting of how she's able to communicate concepts to me because I'd be all over the place. Anyway, so anytime I'm messy is when I surprise her, I surprise myself, and like not only do I do the thing that she asked, I'm often discovering new things. I didn't know I had a falsetto. Like I'm like, what the hell's a falsetto? I don't know what the hell's a but like it's crazy, and it's all comes from the mess, not when I'm trying to get it right. When I'm allowing myself to play, it's been fun.
I mean, look at how much you're discovering about yourself.
Yeah.
It's very inspiring.
Thank you.
It's very inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, I remembered what I wanted to say before. Thank you for what you said about the whole reading stuff and like me being playful and that infecting a room. Like I'm trying to do a better job at like taking in compliments and just like really yeah, just like accepting it, you know? So I really appreciate you saying that. I really do.
It's true. It's
Thank
true.
you.
Yeah. It's wild for me to be in the seat of the facilitator, and I like to use the word facilitator sometimes. Like, I am teaching you all something, but I'm facilitating this kind of space so that you all can find that freedom and find, because there are things that you're doing now that I'm like, I know that you started with me, but like, look at where you are now. I feel like there's a facilitation of that growth, but it's you. You know, like, you are the source. You are the one doing it. So yeah, so it's just really inspiring, and it is something that I am really grateful for, and I'm just really grateful for this community here, because I really feel like this studio focuses on growth. There's a growth mindset here. It's not about booking the job. The focus is on how to make you an artist.
Yeah.
And the hope is that you becoming an artist is going to get you all the work that you want, or that you will create all the work that you want, because that's so important.
Yes.
Not waiting for someone to make an opportunity for you, because if you're an artist, then what you do is you make things. You are in the act of creation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I've been finding about taking responsibility of my artistry and creating my own stuff, you end up being surprised by how many people, through seeing you create, then want to create with you.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like
absolutely.
But like, you have to do something. You have to try. And there's something you said. Oh, this is looping it back to technique. What I have appreciated studying with you is the freedom and autonomy that I feel as an artist. I feel like oftentimes, specifically within this work, it's easy to, whatever acting school you're at, to like rely on the teacher, which then could translate into the real world of relying on the director. And I feel like with gaining the tools from you, and like through the technique, and just like you as a teacher, I'm giving you your flowers, like real talk. You as a teacher, like, I don't feel like, it's gonna sound weird, but it's true, I don't feel like I need anyone. And when I say that, I'm not saying like don't listen to a director, don't listen to, what I'm saying is that like the choices that I make, everything that I'm choosing to do when I show up in creative spaces, it comes from a place of trusting myself because of the trust that you taught us within the classroom. Like, I don't feel while studying with you that my hand was being held, or I had to like look to you for affirmation.
You're not
like,
dependent.
No, exactly, that's the word.
Yeah.
I feel like training with you has really taught that I don't have to be dependent on anyone. I don't want to say but myself, because that doesn't sound right, but
collaboration is, we do need each other, because collaboration is a big part of it. But I know what you're speaking to, this idea of being so dependent on validation to justify your presence here, to justify how you feel about the work that you did that day, right? And that, because I mean, and it's a slippery slope, but I mean, it's tricky. As human beings, there is a part of us that desires validation.
Yes.
But it was so important for me, for all of you, to develop a sense of self-validation, so that you weren't, like you said, looking to me to go, is that good? How do you feel?
Yeah.
You know, I remember growing up and my dad talking to my sister and I about, you know, doing our best, and how at the end of the day you really want to reflect on, did you do your best? And your best is only how you understand it. Your best, no one can tell you whether or not you did your best but you. You know. And so there were times in class where I felt like, in the feedback, sometimes I'd be saying to people like, you know, you didn't do the work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to, I mean, I'm going to say it, but I don't need to say it, right? You know, you know. And when you can be really truthful with yourself and honest with yourself, you can also say to yourself, I worked really hard on that. I put my all into that. I'm so proud of myself. And it's not about the result. It's not about somebody coming along and saying, yes, you did. Which, by the way, I'm saying this and I still have to tell myself this.
Yo,
just to be clear,
no,
like
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
say this and I still have to remind myself as an artist and as an actor, because what
Same.
we do is so vulnerable and we can't see ourselves. That's why we have directors.
True.
They are necessary, they are
True.
important, but we don't want to become dependent on them.
Yes.
We want to have a sense of, or a gauge of what we're doing. We want to have a sense of autonomy in terms of our practice and our work, which technique helps with building a practice. And we also want to come to the work feeling like we have something to offer.
Yes.
Yeah, like I'm bringing something to this space. I have something to offer. I have artistry that can lend itself, and we can collaborate. So collaboration means you and me work together, not you just listen to everything that I tell you to do.
Yeah, and I have like nothing for you to collaborate with. Like in order to collaborate, you have to bring something. And I feel like if anything, not if anything, there's a million things. You taught us to bring something to the table in our future collaborations. Like I don't show up on, because of the technique and working with you, I don't show up on set having nothing to offer. Because I think back to nursery rhymes, like, listen, you need me to make this make sense, come up with this idea, da 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 da. I could do that on the fly. The amount of directors that you work with that like, they're like looking to you for answers.
Yes.
You have to do something, you know, they're looking to you to collaborate, to help, sometimes to provide the solution. And like, if you, the training, the technique, it's like, okay, boom, you need this, da 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 da, simple. At least for me, that's my experience. That's what it's been like. It's been fun. It's honestly just been fun. Just like,
it feels like you're in the fun of it. You're focusing on the fun, and that's where that's why there is an ease.
Yeah, I think so. You were saying, oh yes, I think so, because, and the idea of being like the ease and just like knowing what you offer and being proud of yourself. I had this self-tape the other day, and I don't say this lightly, I say this with joy. I had so much fun. I had so much fun. Like after the tape, like my wife and I, we were cracking up. Shout out to her for being my reader. We were cracking up.
Shout out to all the partners who are readers.
Shout out to all the partners. I have to
shout out my husband. Thank you. Okay.
No, for real, because it's like they be putting up with us. So I had fun, and she was laughing. She was like, I think that's your best yet. And like I felt it. I didn't feel that I booked the part. I felt that I brought my all to this. I felt that I was intentional. I felt that I made choices. I was hype. Sent them the self-tape. And mind you, I was sitting on the self-tape for a minute. So that's something that I'm learning about. Like Christopher, discipline, you know? What ended up happening is I sent them the self-tape. Discipline
in terms of like
getting it in early.
Because
I sent it in literally the next day. The casting director hits me up like, hey, like, so we booked the part, but I looked at your tape and it was so great, so wonderful. Like, I'll definitely be reaching out in the future. I would love to work with you. I don't know if all that's true or not. I'm trusting the word, but what I do know is that...
If they reached out to you to say that, I would trust it, because usually you just don't hear anything.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
This idea of this industry as an industry of no's, I'm like, this industry is an industry of not hearing anything.
Oh, snap. Silence. Okay, well,
Which to me is more hurtful.
I agree. Yo, that silence.
My mother, she can't get over the fact that they don't tell you if you got it or not. She's like, that is so rude.
She
it
really
can't get
is,
over
though.
it. She's like, why don't they tell you? So do you know how many actors they would have to call to say, I'm so sorry, we're not giving you this part?
A ton. Yeah.
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 So it feels like, so you got that feedback from that casting director.
Yeah.
And so what does that mean to you?
I was grateful for the feedback, like truly grateful, but like that feedback came before from like myself and my wife, of like just having fun. I was just so in it. So it's like, I don't want to say like I didn't need the casting director to tell me that. Cause like now hearing from you that like, that's not like, I'm grateful. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, cool. I'm grateful that she reached out.
Yes.
But also like, I was hyped before the email. You get what I'm saying?
Before you even heard the validation, you already had validated yourself because you really enjoyed the process.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
I'm glad that you're enjoying the process, because I think we can focus so much, or we're encouraged to focus so much on booking the job. Booking the job. And who doesn't want to book the job? We want to get the job. But when that becomes our focus, sometimes we can suck the joy out of the process. And I think it's so interesting. I think as self-tapes have become more the norm, I have started to find my joy in them. Not all of them, but in more of them,
Mm.
it's interesting for people, I think, who are just coming into the industry, who this is what it is, right? Self-tapes are now what it is. There's just an acceptance of it. And there's something that happens, I think, to people who are used to something. There's like a grief period. Like I think I have friends who are like, oh my God, I just miss being in a room with people. I miss like being in a room where they could give me feedback right then and there, and then I can take the note and do it. And we don't have that anymore. So there's this like grief process for some of us who are so used to being in the room. We're like, oh, I got to do my tape, and I got to do my lighting, and I got to do my da-da-da-da, you know. And then by the time you do the tape, you're miserable because you've done, right, been pissed off about everything you had to do to get the tape made. But I think, in terms of the industry consistently changing, if we are still in love with the process of making things, then as the industry continues to do what it does, because it's going to keep changing, and technology is going to keep doing what it does in terms of evolving, and that will affect our industry. If we still love the process, and if we still love what we do, that is going to sustain us.
Yeah.
And if we're sharing that love with other artists, that is what is going to be the thing that sustains us. That's going to be the thing that makes you go, hey, let's make this thing together. But if we're just too busy being like, oh, I didn't book the job, you're going to burn out. Who can keep existing from just consistent rejection over and over again? At some point, you have to do something and go, okay, let me make something. And I think what's so important that actors, that artists do, is create opportunities for themselves to keep creating. Because without that, then you are dependent. And that feeling of being dependent on someone else, for me, I don't like it. And it's not to say that, again, we need people.
We need collaborators.
We need to collaborate. But the dependency that I can't work, or I can't practice my art if someone doesn't give me the opportunity. No, you give yourself the opportunity.
Exactly.
You must. It is what's going to sustain you.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I'm talking to myself through you.
I'm listening and taking it in and talking to listening.
This is reciprocal.
Myself.
Yeah. So then it makes me think of this question. People talk about we're in this digital age. There's social media. Right, this idea of if you could make your own work, then why should I train? Right, we're talking about making your own opportunities. Then why do I need to train? If I want to make my own opportunities, I can just pick up my phone, record myself, do my own thing. You know, and I've had students ask me that question, and I think I love what Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and whatever other platforms are starting to pop up. I love what they offer in terms of autonomy, in terms of someone being able to really create and not wait for someone else to greenlight their project. But I do think if we're going to affect people as artists, then we want to be really good at the thing that we're doing. So there's a difference to me between watching something and feeling a human connection to it and feeling moved by it, and content. And there's a lot of content.
A ton.
There's a lot of things you can just keep scrolling past, and it has no effect. It's like sitting in front of the TV and eating potato chips. There's no nutritional value. You're consuming something, there's consumption, but it's not really doing anything.
It's not sustaining you.
And storytelling has been part of the human experience since like the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And in order to tell really good stories, I think training, to me, is so necessary. And so if somebody said to you, well, Christopher, you know, why should I train? I can just pick up my phone and make a TikTok reel and get 2 million followers, and maybe somebody will pay attention to me and cast me and whatever. Why should I even bother with that? Like, how would you answer that?
Yeah, I think that I would tell them, I'll give them a scenario. I'll be like, all right, I want you to tell me that you love me. They'll probably say I love you. I'm like, okay, can you tell me that you love me, but you actually hate me? They might get confused immediately. For me, the difference between training and not training is just the simplicity of not just like saying lines. No shade to the people who don't train, like, you know, who came up through social media. I feel like oftentimes I watch films and I just hear lines being said, and to your point, there's no substance, there's no soul, and I think training helps to differentiate the people that are able to bring life to something as simple as the text, and then to someone who's just saying a line.
Something that's not so simple as the text.
Exactly.
I would say,
yeah, because it's not so simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you making that comment about bringing soul to it, like that is the thing. That is what we're trying to get inside of, is the human spirit, the soul of the work. And so when I watch things too, and it's just all plot driven, and I'm like, yeah, I just watched a bunch of events, but I don't care about anything that I just saw, as opposed to when I watch something and I'm affected by it. And it makes me think, and it makes me go to the coffee shop and talk with my other artist friends about it and go, well, what did you feel about that? And I'm thinking about it for days, and I'm thinking about it in the shower, and and it has an impact on me. I think that training is so important for many reasons. One, I think it's so important that as artists, we reconnect to our humanity, and that we become the mirrors to society to remind them that they are human. Right? And especially right now.
Yeah.
Because there's so much dehumanization in how we exist. And we need to be reminded that, like, hey, we might be very different people. We might come from different places and have very different lived experiences, but we're human. And maybe it'd be good for me to think about what it is to exist as you, and maybe it would be good for you to think about what it would mean to exist as me. That's so important for connection.
Yeah.
So, like, the training, to me, is not just for, so you can book the jobs and do the readings, but it works on who you are as a human being. I always say, I think I've said this to your class so many times, the goal of the work is to make you a better actor. The byproduct is that you end up being a better human being. Yeah.
Facts.
And I'm so glad you trained.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for talking today.
Yo,
I'm so glad you came in and we were
course.
able to chat. I feel like we could go on for hours.
Oh, 100%.
But we can't. So I think we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Thank you for being here, Christopher.
Yo,
this
course.
has been wonderful. Yeah, we'll have to continue this. I feel like you still have a lot more to say. And
I got
so
a lot more to say.
Yeah.
We'll chat.
Yeah, thank you.